What's the luck?
Hey, sugar. I've got a little proposition for you, if you're feeling lucky. I'm talking loot, but not just any loot. Handsome Jack's Casino. This heist, it's personal. He stole my designs to build this place. Taking it back is scratching him out of my books forever. Stay sharp, sugar. Hope you're ready for action.
That looks awesome. I can't wait. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Randy, what is the elevator pitch, though, for people? The trailer's great. Looks like Ocean's 11. I love it. What are they getting into?
A lot of people don't know this. Handsome Jack and Moxxi, they used to be an item. They were married. Handsome Jack stole Moxxi's casino idea, and now he's dead. So Moxxi's like, I'm stealing it back. So she's assembling a squad. You're going to go in there. You're going to go to Handsome Jack's Handsome Jackpot. That's his cruise ship casino in space. You're going to go in with Moxxi and your squad and take it down. And you're going to loot the thing, you're going to rob it, and Moxxi's going to take this place over. And she's really pissed. Like, he aped everything. There's even a bar called Foxy's Bar. Like,
oh, no, that's too far. That's the line, Randy.
Oh, she's no prisoners. No prisoners. And along the way, you get to spend more time with Handsome Jack, even though he's dead, because, Spectre's there. You get to kill all kinds of wicked, awesome bad guys, collect tons of badass loot, level up. And what's great about it is you can treat this like endgame, like it's a whole new campaign, expanded to the end of the game, or you might be just starting out. You might start a fresh game and just boom, this is like a side quest. And
a 7-hour side quest.
Yeah, 7-hour side, but it balances to whatever level you're at. And
Rad.
as long as you can get there from Sanctuary, then you're good.
And you guys were nice enough to give us like 20 minutes of footage of playing through. It is awesome. And I can't wait to get in there.
There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
The other thing about it too is when we start these, we know what we're doing now. So a developer week is worth way more on DLC than a developer week during the main game.
Sure.
And we're just like, what the hell are we doing? So it's super efficient. And like and so many people are like, the other thing too is the stakes we feel are a little lower, which means we can be riskier.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean the stakes are lower, you think?
Well, there's so much pressure to make sure that the main game and the main storyline is all in canon, and everything's taken care of with how does this matter for the big picture of the Borderlands universe?
Sure.
But who gives a shit about Jack's casino, cruise ship? We can just goof off to the side, and it's fun, but we don't have to worry about the implications to the larger. We can just go over here and just goof off and just have as much fun as possible and be as outlandish and crazy as possible, and not worry about the implications to the bigger universe.
Sure, that's a great point of putting, because I always think of it with the way you guys, Borderlands specifically, do your add-on content. It always feels to me like dessert, that cherry on top, because the people who are playing it are the hardcore. They are the Borderlands fan. They already love the game. They're already there for the right reasons, right? So like you're saying, you can get nuts with it now. You can go and give them a character.
Yeah, now, that said, one of the things that's kind of ingrained in the values of Gearbox and how we think about ourselves as entertainers, the relationship we want with the people that play our games is we always want the people that play our games to feel like they got the better end of the bargain.
Yeah.
Right. And we can achieve that because of scale, right? When we get enough customers, we're going to eat we can pay our salaries, and we get we get to have a place to live, and but if we make the entertainment worthy enough and good enough that, the people that are playing these expansions, it's in the season pass. So anyone that already bought the Super Deluxe Edition, they already have the content. But they bought in for this more expensive SKU. And the people that buy the season pass later, or the people that buy each expansion as a a la carte, standalone, the mission we have for ourselves, we have to outdo it. We have to make sure that those people feel like they're getting the better end of the deal. right? So, we think about what people pay for add-on content for other games, and we think about how much value is in it and how fun the experience is, how big the experience is, how much total entertainment value is, and we just want to do better. We want to do better than we did before, and we want to do better than the choices other people have. And if we feel like we're doing that, then we feel like we've done a good job. And, it doesn't always work out, but for these, I mean, the momentum is so high on the development team.
Yeah.
Like I said, it took me like 7 hours just to, and I played the game a few times. Like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm
You know
doing.
what you're doing.
You know what I mean? I'm very consumptive though. I tend to I want to see everything.
I was gonna say, are you a Fran type player who's in the menus all day, just doing this?
Well, you got to look at the corners of the room.
Yeah, I do like to see
the
the art. I do like to see I do like to consume the experience. But we've had the average in playtesting is 8 hours.
Wow,
nice.
So
I can't wait, man.
There's plenty. Of time.
But I know there's going to be some streamers that are going to be able to
of course,
speed run this thing in like 4 or 5. But even that, like a campaign DLC that gives you 5 hours, like that was the peak when we were doing the stuff for Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Like the biggest ones in Borderlands 2 were about 5 hours of content. So we're trying to raise that bar in terms of the scope of the content, but also the quality of it.
Yeah.
And that's important too, right? How tight it is and how much stuff you can do. And, we're introducing characters that we love from the past that we've maybe missed, but also introducing new characters and creating new, some of the best characters in the Borderlands franchise come from these expansions.
Oh, yeah.
Like Moxxi herself came from a Borderlands 1 expansion. So
well, that's why I'm so excited for it, is the fact that it's Moxxi and Jack focused, right? That I get 2 of my favorite characters that I get to run through and do that.
If you played Borderlands 2, Jack is impossible shoes to fill, right?
Yeah.
And some people miss Jack.
Yeah.
Even though he's an asshole and a villain.
That's
some
why we
people
miss him
miss
so
him,
much,
right?
yeah.
So
All right, kiddo.
this is a way where we can, without undoing our canon, we can spend more time with
Oh,
the
sure.
character.
Yeah.
There's another character that Jack had body doubles.
Yeah.
Right. So you played as one of them, a guy named Timothy, who was, he looked exactly like Jack. He was surgically altered to look like Jack. He sounds like Jack, has the same fingerprints as Jack, so he can access
because DNA and all.
Yeah. And that was the character you played in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, one of the options. And that character is coming back in this, and I don't want to spoil anything, but we're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, so we saw the trailer, and you talked about getting into a room and deciding. There's all this up on the board.
Yeah.
So what would be this 30 to 60 second, call it, pitch of how it came together? Like,
That
what
one
did you
sort
see?
of, so that one didn't congeal from a definitive pitch. Like there was a number of things we wanted to play with. Like I remember one of the concepts in the room was, hey, we should play more with the slot machines in Moxxi's bar. Let's play with that. Like how far can we go? Like I remember back when we did the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep expansion, we had characters with loot boxes on their backs and shit. Like what if we had a slot machine on the back of a giant, Goliath or something, and just goofing around with gambling. So gambling was a thing, and then wouldn't it be great to have Jack? What can we do with Jack? That was on the list. There's a bunch of side characters that what can we do there? One of the ideas was a cruise ship. Right, because we have Sanctuary 3, so we can explore different places in the galaxy.
Which is awesome.
Well, instead of going to a planet or a moon or an asteroid, what if we boarded another ship? And that was that was sitting. So there's all these little things sitting there, and some of those got pulled together and became this over time, and it was a fun process. Once we had the idea of. He called his casino / cruise ship the Handsome Jackpot, because then it starts conjuring other media, other ideas, things that we have from the Douglas Adams books, like Hitchhiker's Guide. There's that vibe to it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of Flossed in Paradise from Fifth Element, there's all these other influences start to come in, and we're just okay.
Even last month when we were filming the show and we were talking about this, and it was okay, it's gonna be this heist, it's gonna be this thing. I didn't even put it together how Ocean's 11 it would be till I was watching the trailer and I'm like, oh right, Moxxi's assembling a team. It's us. We're going in. What a brilliant move.
Right. So that was both a story concept and a gameplay concept to do. Okay, can we do heists? Can we be thieves? Would that be fun? I mean, we're vault hunters. What if we're vault looters? And what if it's not a vault? So that was. That was part of it too. And by the way, that kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. Like, only in an expansion like this do we give ourselves the freedom to like, hey, let's forget about vaults for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's go do this thing over here.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun.
What are we looking at for players? I'm assuming there's exclusive loot in here, exclusive rewards.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They went nuts. They went absolutely. Well, so far, we don't like. We always like it's fun to both get loot but also get the cosmetic stuff. So there's like a combination of gear that's actual like usable in game, guns and shields and equipment, but there's also a lot of cosmetic stuff. And we've always had this attitude that it's like, this is best when you earn it. These are rewards for in-game behavior.
Yeah.
We dabbled a little bit in Borderlands 2 with like some cosmetic stuff that you could buy, like little microtransactions, but we think it's more fun to earn the stuff.
Oh yeah.
So we just went nuts and put it all in the campaign DLC. So there's some so Scott Kester has this kind of rule, like when we're making like heads and skins, like cosmetic stuff, he has this rule of like a third of it should be like on the nose, like, okay, it's cool, it's serious, and it fits with the character. And then a third of it should be kind of like pushing in like maybe crossing over a little bit with other things in the universe. And then a third should just be absolute batshit insanity.
I love that last
just
third.
super-
The last third.
I love it too, but I think I love it more because it's like in with the other stuff. If that's
It's
all,
all special.
if that's all that was, then I'd be
no.
like, this is just bananas, right? But like, because the banana stuff just happened, you're like, what the hell is like? I don't know, it makes it feel better. So that's definitely there from the cosmetic point of view, and there's some stuff that's just absolutely batshit crazy. But then on the loot side, like our gun team, they've gotten really, really good, and now like the gun team was like ahead of most of the project.
Yeah.
Like these guys just such badasses. So these guys were really ahead of it. So a lot of the guns in Borderlands 3 were developed ahead of or in line with the development of enemies and combat spaces. But now, like, this team has been able to play the whole finished game as it is and design guns with that knowledge in mind. And so some of the stuff is like, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah,
but
that's the
some
toughest part. I want to know more and more and more.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There's some really clever decisions that I saw. And I haven't even used all the content that's there. I haven't played with all of it yet, but some really clever decisions and some fun stuff. And there's also some things that look kind of simple on the surface, but when you kind of and that's one of the things I love about Borderlands, right? Like, you get a gun and you'll look at its stat, but then you're like, well, let me just fire it a few times.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, whoa, this is not
the feel.
Yeah, and it's hard to kind of put your finger. There's no way to reduce that into a statistic, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of just have to play with stuff and see what's right, and it's different for everybody, which is really weird.
But it's going to be guns, shields, grenades,
The
all
whole
the above.
spectrum. The whole,
So new builds, that we can work
Yeah,
on.
Oh God, Fran will never play.
Yeah, that's
gonna
the
keep
thing.
working
Yeah,
the
there's
build.
there's gonna be probably some new best
new
builds
stuff that
that emerge as
The
as a
live
concept.
team will look at balancing out after maybe. It's all right though.
We'll see. We didn't. It's this game's so big and so complex,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of
you don't
things in
know
there.
what you don't know until you know it, and we're figuring it all out in real time. That said, it's like the guys now, like they've did some things to kind of fix what they thought were more like bugs rather than balance issues.
Sure.
And now their attitude, they're getting really good at it. And there's this constant loop between them and players.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you want to give feedback to the guys that are responsible for like hot fixes and balance and stuff,
Their phone number is no.
Yeah, let's just
I
grab it.
promise you, like they exist just to try to entertain people. Like their whole thing in the world, they just want everybody to have a great time. But they respond so well to respectful comments and constructive criticism. So if you want something actually done the way you like, be positive. They respond really. I've noticed that's the way to kind of tweak them when I'm trying to get something done.
A little bit of honey.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, because I had this thing, and maybe some of you guys had it too. So I started a new a playthrough. About a month ago. So I finished. I wanted to just start the game fresh with a new character, and right as I was doing that, I was probably somewhere on Promethea, and the Bloody Harvest started, and then all of a sudden, like, there's skeletons flying at me.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, oh man, like maybe I didn't want this while I'm going through the campaign, right? So like, you know, I've found ways to I found ways to kind of anyway.
Don't spoil the mailbag. I have a question in there that I planted about that. All right, because you're not off the hook about that. Okay. Neither from me, Imran, or anyone else.
Okay, we'll come back.
So maybe to close the loop on additions with Moxxi's Heist and the handsome Jackpot of the
fake fan.
I don't know. I need a T-shirt with that on it. That'll be good to go.
We always put too many words in our campaign add-ons.
I love the name because you pretty much know what you're getting just from the name. But anyway, so new enemy types, like we get that too because in Elmont Takedown we were seeing that you're gonna get a lot of that.
Oh
stuff
yes.
Here too.
Well, one of the things that's cool. There's I don't want to spoil something. So one of the things.
Lay it out. No.
So one of the things, you're in Handsome Jack's cruise ship, right? His casino. So he's going to use Hyperion tech as security.
Sure.
Right? So in none of Borderlands 3 do we have anything like the Hyperion loader bots and all the
loader bot.
So all the Hyperion bots are like, you know what? Let's do it. So now you've got a lot of the Hyperion tech coming back, and like obviously we're ramping that up a bit, and so we're Borderlands 3-ifying all of that. And then there's this other, you know, we started thinking like, how would this thing actually work?
Yeah.
You know, we're like one of the biggest problems is how do you deal with waste? If you had and this is like a weird thing to get into.
If you're on
like,
the handsome Jackpot,
if you're trying to build, if you're trying to build a cruise ship that can just go forever in space, like you can't, you don't want to just eject everything into space because there's only so much stuff, right? Like you need to find a way to take
repurpose, recycle.
So then we started thinking, like, where does all the trash go, and where and like we imagine this whole like underworld that's like the trash layer, the garbage layer, and then we like created a whole culture that lives there, and like it's like
garbage people.
And it's like, so like there's bad guy bosses that kind of run things, and there's some good guy characters. There's a whole freaking there's some fun new characters that I don't want to spoil.
It sounds exciting.
I don't want to ruin it, but there's some fun. So like even though you feel like, okay, I'm in the glitz of like, you know, where you'd expect to be, like if you go to Las Vegas,
it's
Bellagio,
the Vegas underbelly.
Yeah, it's like what about the wrong stuff that you know has to be there, but nobody ever sees?
I want to explore
let's do some of that too. Okay. You know, so we had some fun with it.
I like how that's how your RPG shooter goes. Is that you're on one hand, how do we make cool loot? How do we make cool enemies? How do we make cool things? And then you're like, but where would the garbage go? Wait, that's inspired a brand new level of villains.
Like somebody asked a question like, well, how would this work? And then that leads to a whole freaking.
So you're going to go down, and they're doing laundry. There's a laundry boss, and you get an actual legendary T-shirt cannon that you can use.
We know that there's a lot of laundry machines in Borderlands, and they all have. None of them work, but they all have cash inside. You just keep opening those washing machines.
Exactly.
That's why everybody's dirty, because none of the all the washing machines are garbage now.
Yeah.
So then, Randy, the big question.
Yes.
Moxxi's Heist of the Handsome Jackpot.
Yes.
When can people play it?
Right before the holiday. It's December 19th. It's
okay.
It's coming up. We got about a month to go, and we're gonna. So that's what I'm doing over my holiday break.
Time off.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate it because I have all the time off.